Ice Cube's Big Three is the surprise hit of the summer. This Saturday, 4 p.m. Eastern on CBS, with playoff elimination on the line, the most physical, fiercest, and competitive basketball in the world. Miami's Michael Beasley and Lance Stevenson must win to make the playoffs, and breakout star Dwight Howard of the LA Riot will battle Gary Payton's Boston squad in a do-or-die match for both teams. 6 teams are alive for 4 spots, and all must win. There's no crying in the Big Three, and the no-holds-barred action starts Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. Presented by iHeart.
There's nothing like sinking into luxury. At WashableSofas.com, you'll find the Anabay sofa, which combines ultimate comfort and design at an affordable price. And get this, it's the only sofa that's fully machine washable from top to bottom, starting at only $699. The stain-resistant performance fabric slipcovers and cloud-like frame duvet can go straight into your wash. Perfect for anyone with kids, pets, or anyone who loves an easy-to-clean, spotless sofa. With a modular design and changeable slipcovers, you can customize your sofa to fit any space and style. Whether you need a single chair, love seat, or a luxuriously large sectional, Anabay has you covered. Visit WashableSofas.com to upgrade your home. Right now, you can shop up to 60% off store-wide with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Shop now at WashableSofas.com. Add a little to your life. Offers are subject to change and certain restrictions may apply.
If you eat too many ultra-processed foods, you could be starving your gut microbes, and they'll get hangry. That's one of many things I learned after working on a new audio course about the gut microbiome. You can learn how to keep your gut happy by listening to Try This from The Washington Post. I'm Christina Quinn. I host Try This. Dig in with me on practical advice for life's common challenges. Follow Try This right now wherever you're listening. Seriously, try it.
Later with Mo Kelly on KFI AM 640.
Radio host Charlamagne the God of New York's The Breakfast Club radio show. He was recently on Fox News's My View, which is hosted by Laura Trump, of course, daughter-in-law of the president. On that show, Charlamagne suggested that he would be interested in a Jon Stewart presidential candidacy in 2028, as in Jon Stewart of Comedy Central's The Daily Show. No, you didn't get that. Let me say it one more time, but slower for dramatic effect. Charlamagne suggested that he would be interested in a presidential candidacy of Jon Stewart, a nighttime talk show host on Comedy Central, because that's where we are in this unserious America. Presently, just in case you didn't know, we have a former game show / reality TV host in his second term as president. Also presently, there are 23 one-time Fox News Channel employees, hosts, or contributors in the Trump administration. 23 in the administration right now. ESPN television personality Stephen A. Smith has publicly mused about running for president in 2028. We've discussed him here. Tucker Carlson, former Fox News personality in his own right, has mused about running for president in 2028. And now this. To be fair, Stewart himself has said nothing to indicate he would be interested in either the job or entering the race. So this has less to do with Stewart and more to do with us as a nation. There's no denying that there is a visual element to the American presidency in the 21st century. You have to be an effective communicator, and you have to be that effective communicator in a televised medium, social media savvy, and be able to speak in terse sound bites. But none of that speaks to what is necessary to do the actual job. I'm talking about domestic policy, foreign policy, military strategy / commander-in-chief, molder of consensus on Capitol Hill with Congress, setting economic policy and managing our national security, CEO of the federal government, and oversee all of its agencies and 2 million full-time federal employees. It's actually a job that is too big for just one person. But we're in America so damn lazy and, dare I say, stupid. Yes, I said lazy and stupid. We're not looking for competence first and foremost. We're looking for someone who can handle TV and TV interviews. We want someone who can own the libs. We want someone who is funny, or at least we find funny on social media. You know, nice clapback game. We've devalued the actual importance of the presidency and the responsibilities the job holds. We think that anyone, and this is not even being political, I'm just saying, you ask someone, they throw out all sorts of weird-ass people who should be president. We think that anyone can be president, provided he, and I do mean he, because America is not remotely interested in a she. Let's be honest. Can I tell the truth here? Provided he says some stuff we like and can effectively communicate it in the televised medium. It doesn't even have to make sense. We just have to like what he says, which is really odd when you consider that presidents and presidential candidates don't write any of their speeches. We're one step removed from America's Top Model, the Presidential Search Edition, or Who Wants to Be the President, or Dancing with the President's Cabinet Members. I know, we already have a reality show called Big Brother, but I thought that would be a little bit too much on the nose. The larger point is, we as in Americans, we want a TV host, not an actual president. And it is damn depressing to me. Because you know what? I actually love this country. And if you love this country, you probably want the best for this country. And the best is not a TV host. Not now, not ever. But let me get back to Charlemagne and his presidential wish list. I've never met Jon Stewart. I think he's fabulous at what he does, and that is political insight and commentary. I think what Stewart's done with the 9/11 Survivors and Victims Fund is nothing less than admirable and remarkable. But under no circumstances does that mean he is either suitable to be leader of the free world or president. We should have more respect for the office of the president. We should. I know that's a funny statement in and of itself, because we don't have any respect for the office of the president. Not even a little bit. Zero respect for the seriousness of the office and or its responsibilities. Not a day goes by without our sitting president getting on social media and starting Twitter fights with actors, singers, television hosts, athletes, and even radio hosts like Charlemagne. We're not serious about anything, least of all who should be leader of the free world. There is something to be said for actually having applicable experience, working as a local elected official, then state, then federal, serving on a congressional committee, or two even, working with classified intelligence and moving up that ladder. When you do, you learn how agencies and departments work and their purpose, their importance. So you understand how the Bureau of Labor Statistics, for example, actually works. And you know that it's not just one person making the stats. It is a committee of people, and you don't need to just fire one person, particularly a woman, for no good damn reason. That's what happens when you're a TV host. Because being a TV host is not an applicable skill. It's a deficiency and drawback, or at least it used to be. It's actually a reason why you should absolutely not ever be considered for president of the United States. For KFI AM 640, I'm Mo Kelly. NASA aims to beat China and Russia in a race to build a nuclear reactor on the moon. It's not exactly the space race of the 60s, but in the way it's being framed, that's what NASA would have us believe. In a way, it's like life imitating art. In the sci-fi show Space 1999 with Martin Landau, it tells the story of a moon base where a nuclear bomb detonates and pushes the whole ass moon out of orbit into deep space. It's a great theme song. If I have time, I'll play it later. But I digress. You remember that show, Mark?
Very well. It's a Jerry Anderson and Sylvia Anderson show.
Yeah.
It was meant to be a continuation of UFO.
That is true. Look at you with your cinephile self. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy, who is also serving as NASA's acting administrator and formerly part of The Real World on MTV and wholly unqualified for the job as NASA administrator, warned us today that China and Russia are both aiming to deploy a nuclear reactor of their own by the mid-2030s. And it's pronounced nuclear, not nuclear. Just want to throw that out there. Anyhow, this is a real estate deal by a different name. He who builds their nuclear reactor first gets to claim a sizable portion of moonland around it as a quote-unquote keep-out zone. It's a type of planting the flag in a Dr. Evil sort of way. You remember Dr. Evil? You remember what he did on the moon?
Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to begin phase 2 of our evil project. Or is it phase I don't know phases. Anyways, this is the phase in which we put a giant laser on the moon. As you know, the moon rotates around the Earth like so. When the moon reaches its appropriate lunar alignment, it will destroy Washington, D.C. You see, I've turned the moon into what I like to call a Death Star. What?
Ah, nothing, Darth.
What did you call me?
No, nothing. Rip off!
Bless you. Anyways, the key to this plan is the giant laser. It was invented by the noted Cambridge physicist, Dr. Parsons. Therefore, we shall call it the Alan Parsons Project.
That never gets old. But according to Sean Duffy, NASA should be ready to launch a small, air quotes, nuclear power plant, a mini 3-mile island to the moon by late 2029 or 2030. The specs are that the reactor should be able to generate 100 kilowatts of electricity at a minimum. In layman's terms, such output could power about 80 homes. No, I don't think we're about to build Trump Tower Luna, but that's just a power reference point. On one hand, I get the national need to beat or at least keep pace with the other superpowers as it relates to colonizing the moon. But what I don't get, and the point of this final thought tonight is, why aren't we as determined to beat at least China right here on Earth? Especially when it comes to infrastructure and technology. China's bullet train network, one of the most extensive in the world, features high-speed rail lines connecting major cities and regions across the country. And it's a big-ass country. America's bullet train network, well, it doesn't exist. Not one train, not one car, not one station, not one track. And that's saying nothing of our present crumbling infrastructure. And for all the supposed outrage over the train derailment in East Palestine, remember that? Ohio, 2023? Or the outdated national airspace system used by air traffic controllers, remember that? Planes falling out of the sky? There's no push to beat China there or even have us enter into the same century. Russia's Russia. Their economy is not even as big as California. They're not our direct competitor in that sense. But China, they're kicking our ass in every way. So the moon, I get it in theory, but at the continued expense and detriment of our own technological infrastructure, no, I don't get that.
The reviews and ratings are in, and Ice Cube's Big 3 is the surprise hit of the summer. This Saturday, 4 p.m. Eastern on CBS, with playoff elimination on the line, the stars will be flocking to Los Angeles to witness the most physical, fiercest, and competitive basketball in the world. Miami's Michael Beasley and Lance Stevenson must win over Houston to make the playoffs, reeling from last week's savage beating at the hands of Chicago's possessed Montrezl Harrell. Last time these teams met, Miami beat Houston, but they are a dangerous team having their manhood at stake. Then breakout star Dwight Howard of the LA Riot will battle Gary Payton's Boston squad in a do-or-die match for both teams. Will LA avenge their previous shocking loss to perennial basketball Boston rivals to survive? 6 teams are allowed for 4 spots and all must win. Don't miss the Big 3, the 3-on-3 basketball league everyone is talking about. There's no crying in the Big 3, and the no-holds-barred action starts Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, followed by 2 games on Vice starting at 6:30 Eastern, presented by iHeart.
Time for a sofa upgrade? Visit WashableSofas.com and discover Anabay, where designer style meets budget-friendly prices, with sofas starting at $699. Anabay brings you the ultimate in furniture innovation with a modular design that allows you to rearrange your space effortlessly. Perfect for both small and large spaces, Anabay is the only machine-washable sofa inside and out. Say goodbye to stains and messes with liquid and stain-resistant fabrics that make cleaning easy. Liquid simply slides right off. Designed for custom comfort, our high-resilience foam lets you choose between a sink-in feel or a supportive memory foam blend. Plus, our pet-friendly, stain-resistant fabrics ensure your sofa stays beautiful for years. Don't compromise quality for price. Visit washablesofas.com to upgrade your living space today with no-risk returns and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Get up to 60% off plus free shipping and free returns. Shop now at washablesofas.com. Offers are subject to change and certain restrictions may apply.
If you eat too many ultra-processed foods, you could be starving your gut microbes, and they'll get hangry. That's one of many things I learned after working on a new audio course about the gut microbiome. You can learn how to keep your gut happy by listening to Try This from the Washington Post. I'm Christina Quinn. I host Try This. Dig in with me on practical advice for life's common challenges. Follow Try This right now wherever you're listening. Seriously, try it.
Check out Vizio's complete lineup of home entertainment. From stunning smart TVs to immersive soundbars, Vizio has you covered. Experience entertainment like never before with hundreds of built-in apps, including Watch Free Plus for free live and on-demand TV, all ready to go right out of the box. You can even stream your favorite music, radio, and podcasts with the iHeartRadio app, available on every Vizio smart TV. Transform your entertainment with incredible picture quality and next-level audio. Visit Vizio.com today.
I remember being told growing up, if you want to know what's important to you or anyone else, watch how and where someone spends their money. China, no doubt, is a dictatorship with a blended economic system. People are not free, but the country does spend money on its infrastructure. We spend more and more money on defense and virtually nothing else. We've cut Medicaid. We've cut education. We've cut cancer research. RFK Jr. announced a cut of $500 million to vaccine research. Our priorities are clear. But sure, put a nuclear reactor on the moon, one giant leap backward for mankind. And speaking of drastic cuts, the Trump administration just proposed slashing NASA's budget by 25% just 3 months ago in May. And that's going to happen. I kid you not. How any of this is supposed to happen on 3/4 budget and no Senate-confirmed administrator is baffling on its best day. But I guess it makes for a good soundbite and press release. I would offer this as I close. That America being first with the nuclear reactor on the moon is not to be confused with America first. If we're not taking care of America right here in America, well, we will undoubtedly finish last. For KFI AM 640, I'm Mo Kelly. Shout out to Space 1999.
This part slaps, doesn't it?
It's one of the best things ever. All right, bring in the timpani. All right, back to the disco beat. The Wall Street Journal recently published an op-ed arguing that the WNBA needed to better protect its star, Caitlin Clark, or maybe have the federal government step in. Long story short, Clark is posited as the face of the league and chief asset, and she gets fouled way too hard or way too often, something, she's fragile, all Caitlins matter, blah, blah, blah. The federal government stepping in and taking over a private pro sports league in the name of civil rights? You heard that right. That's what the Wall Street Journal argued, or at least one writer in the Wall Street Journal. So much for small government. The op-ed was written by Sean McClain, founder of Origin Advocacy, a lobbying firm, not a sports organization. He previously served in the first Trump White House and the offices of Senator Ted Cruz. If you're looking for any sports or basketball bona fides, he has none. All political. Note the op-ed was published in the Wall Street Journal, the home of all things sports and women's basketball. Or not at all. Sounds like Mr. McClain doesn't want to keep politics out of his sports. But it did finally filter down to actual sports news outlets. ESPN host and face of the network and possible future presidential candidate Stephen A. Smith weighed in a day or two later, saying that he believed President Trump could spark an investigation into Caitlin Clark regarding her WNBA treatment purely for political gain. Not the Department of Justice Civil Rights Division, which would be the appropriate venue, but the president himself. Again, not exactly keeping the politics off our sports dinner plates. Here's what Smith had to say.
I am not guessing on this. I didn't go on my show and just bring it up for no reason. I happen to know a few people who have said this is something that do not be surprised that President Trump speaks on eventually. And if that man decides that this is something that can feed his base, that can ingratiate himself with that kind of audience that is protective of a Caitlin Clark and what she stands for and what she represents, and they come to a conclusion that they believe she is being unfairly treated, that is going to be a problem for the WNBA.
That's Stephen A. Smith on Caitlin Clark. You may remember that we discussed the new LA 28 Olympic Task Force that President Trump created through an executive order, and he himself is heading up the task force. What his specific duties are or will be, I have no freaking idea. I honestly don't know. He knows nothing about Olympic sports. But you may remember that in his announcement the other day, he celebrated how the task force would make sure no men will steal, his word, steal trophies from women. I don't want to be the one to inform him that the Olympics doesn't give out trophies, but medals, but somebody should.
Thank you, Gene, very much. And thank him for recently banning men from competing in women's sports. That's a big deal. Thank you very much. It's amazing the way I don't hear any applause for that when everyone feels it. It's a 97, don't worry about it, Gene. That's a 97-3. It's not 80-20, it's 97-3. But nobody wants to clap. It's crazy. The United States will not let men steal trophies from women at the 2028 Olympics, so we appreciate the fairness.
I hope you've noticed that that's a whole lot of politics in sports, overtly, intentionally, with the goal of not only shaping competition, but inputting political ideology in the process. Oh, I'm all for fair play and competition, but that's what a WNBA commissioner is for. That's what a WNBA players union is for. Caitlin Clark has a union rep. She doesn't need the president of the United States or the DOJ intervening. There's a fully capable system and process to handle grievances. It's in this thing called the collective bargaining agreement. As for the Olympics, which you just heard, there's already an IOC, there's a FIBA. And I hate to break it to folks, but the president of the United States doesn't have any sway over how the games will be run in 2028. Zero. Just in case you know anything about sports. The reason I bring all this up is because the NFL season is beginning. And tonight on the TV, we had the Raiders and the Seahawks playing on the TV in the studio. And I fully expect the president at some point to have something to say about the NFL and its players. You can bet on it at some point. And the NFL players will be asked about this or that going on in the world. They'll be asked about something the president may have said. They will express themselves. Why? Because they are Americans like you and me. The NBA players will have their opportunities to express themselves too. And when they do, I don't want to hear anything about how you don't want politics in sports. You absolutely don't mind it. In fact, you want it, just as long as your politics are the ones being featured and nobody else's. I mean, it could be politics in sports. It could be race and gender. It could be religion. Far too many people today will say that they don't mind if race is brought into any subject, just so long as it's what they already believe about race or black and brown people or trans people or immigration. The president does it every single day if you're paying attention. And those who are okay with it are those who just happen to agree with him. But you don't mind politics in your sports or race on your radio station or religion in your schools, just as long as it reflects what you want and already believe, or the God you pray to, or the gender you date/marry. You don't mind when I talk about trans women not competing with cis women. You don't mind that. You eat that stuff up. You don't mind that stuff about politics and sports mixing. But the moment I mention bananas thrown on the field at black soccer players, it's like, hey, Mo. Why do you always make it about race? Don't bring politics into my sports. I got it. I hear you. I read your messages. So as long as you are affirmed, it's okay. You don't mind politics and sports mixing. How do I know? Because I've not heard a single peep about needing to keep politics out of sports since January 20th of 2025. Funny how that seems to work. For KFI AM 640, I'm Mo Kelly.
Ice Cube's Big Three is the surprise hit of the summer. This Saturday, 4 p.m. Eastern on CBS, with playoff elimination on the line, the most physical, fiercest, and competitive basketball in the world. Miami's Michael Beasley and Lance Stevenson must win to make the playoffs, and breakout star Dwight Howard of the LA Riot will battle Gary Payton's Boston squad in a do-or-die match for both teams. 6 teams are alive for 4 spots, and all must win. There's no crying in the Big Three, and the no-holds-barred action starts Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. Presented by iHeart.
Life's messy. We're talking spills, stains, pets, and kids. But with Anabae, you never have to stress about messes again. At WashableSofas.com, discover Anabae sofas, the only fully machine-washable sofas inside and out, starting at just $699. Made with liquid and stain-resistant fabrics. That means fewer stains and more peace of mind. Designed for real life, our sofas feature changeable fabric covers, allowing you to refresh your style anytime. Need flexibility? Our modular design lets you rearrange your sofa effortlessly. Perfect for cozy apartments or spacious homes. Plus, they're earth-friendly and built to last. That's why over 200,000 happy customers have made the switch. Upgrade your space today. Visit WashableSofas.com now and bring home a sofa made for life. That's WashableSofas.com. Offers are subject to change, and certain restrictions may apply.
If you eat too many ultra-processed foods, you could be starving your gut microbes, and they'll get hangry. That's one of many things I learned after working on a new audio course about the gut microbiome. You can learn how to keep your gut happy by listening to Try This from The Washington Post. I'm Christina Quinn. I host Try This. Dig in with me on practical advice for life's common challenges. Follow Try This right now wherever you're listening. Seriously, try it.